Today we'll be working in my workbook called Clearing a Pathway into the Psalms, which covers Psalms 32 to 41. Today we'll be working on Psalm 37, the heritage of the righteous, and the calamity of the wicked. The original Psalms did not have these titles. These titles were added later, just so for reference and for just like any other title, kind of gives you a point of what the subject is about. So, but I've included them because it certainly makes it easier in the table of contents. 37. I did that, didn't I? I thought I did it different. Oh, no, there it is. There it is. I thought I did it like this. The heritage of the righteous and the calamity of the wicked. Do not fret because of those who are evil, or be envious of those who do wrong. For like the grass, they will soon wither, and like green plants, they will soon die away. Trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and enjoy safe pasture. Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in him, and he will do this. He will make your righteous reward shine like the dawn, your vindication like the noonday sun. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Do not fret when people succeed in their ways, when they carry out their wicked schemes. Refrain from anger and turn from wrath. Do not fret, it leads only to evil. For those who are evil will be destroyed. Those who hope in the Lord will inherit the land. A little while, and the wicked will be no more. Though you look for them, they will not be found. But the meek will inherit the land and enjoy peace and prosperity. The wicked plot against the righteous and gnash their teeth at them. But the Lord laughs at the wicked, for he knows their day is coming. The wicked draw the sword and bend the bow to bring down the poor and needy, to slay those whose ways are upright. But their swords will pierce their own hearts, and their bows will be broken. Better the little that the righteous have than the wealth of many wicked. For the power of the wicked will be broken, but the Lord upholds the righteous. The blameless spend their days under the Lord's care, and their inheritance will endure forever. In the times of disaster they will not wither. In the days of famine they will enjoy plenty. But the wicked will perish. Though the Lord's enemies are like the flowers of the field, they will be consumed, they will go up in smoke. The wicked borrow and do not repay, but the righteous give generously. Those the Lord blesses will inherit the land, but those he curses will be destroyed. The Lord makes firm the steps of the one who delights in him. Though he may stumble, he will not fall, for the Lord upholds him with his hand. I was young, and now I'm old, yet I have never seen the righteous forsaken or their children begging bread. They are always generous and lend freely. Their children will be a blessing. Turn from evil and do good. Then you will dwell in the land forever. For the Lord loves the just and will not forsake his faithful ones. Wrongdoers will be completely destroyed. The offspring of the wicked will perish. The righteous will inherit the land and dwell in it forever. The mouths of the righteous utter wisdom, and their tongues speak what is just. The law of their God is in their hearts, their feet do not slip. The wicked lie in wait for the righteous, intending on putting them to death. But the Lord will not leave them in the power of the wicked, or let them be condemned when brought to trial. Hope in the Lord and keep his way. He will exalt you to inherit the land. When the wicked are destroyed, you will see it. I have seen a wicked and ruthless man flourishing like a luxuriant native tree, but he soon passed away and was no more. Though I looked for him, he could not be found. Consider the blameless, observe the upright. Future awaits those who seek peace, but all sinners will be destroyed. There will be no future for the wicked. The salvation of the righteous comes from the Lord. He is their stronghold in times of trouble. The Lord helps them and delivers them. He delivers them from the wicked and saves them because they take refuge in him. Long psalm. So like all other psalms, I bring in some general comments before we get a deep dive into the psalm. This psalm is part of the first book of Psalms. There are 5 books on the Psalms. The NIV Study Bible states that Psalm 37 is an alphabet acrostic and is instruction on godly wisdom. It is part of a group of Psalms 34 through 37 that are grouped together because they form a literary unit framed by two alphabetic acrostic Psalms 34 and 37, which contain wisdom-like instruction and warnings about the wicked and the righteous. According to Jameson, Fawcett, and Brown, Psalm 37 is a didactic or wisdom psalm about good and bad men. According to J. Vernon McGee, Psalm 37 is a promise of future blessing. Historically, since David doesn't specifically tell us when it was written, Bible scholars can disagree. For Psalm 37, the Blue Letter Bible doesn't believe that it was written by David, but during the Babylonian captivity, probably by Daniel, just after he had the vision of the four beasts in Daniel 7:28. In this case, they're interpreting of David as meaning about David or like David. The Nelson Chronological Bible has it written by David after he instigates the census of Israel and Judah without God's approval in 1 Chronicles 21, 1 through 29. I believe, since verse 25 talks about old age, that David wrote the psalm in his later years. The subheading that was given with the psalm was that it was of David, although the word that translates as of could mean about and not by. This could mean that someone else wrote it about David or like him in style rather than him writing it. But I believe that he wrote it. The psalm divides into 10 sections. Section 1, don't worry about the ungodly, verses 1 and 2. Section 2, just trust in the Lord, verses 3 through 7a. Section 3, therefore don't fret, verses 7b through 11. Section 4, the wicked's plot will backfire, verses 12 through 15. Section 5, unlike the wicked, God's security never fades, verses 16 and 20. Section 6, the wicked are greedy, but the righteous are generous, verses 21 through 26. Section 7, the righteous will inherit the land, verses 27 through 29. Section 8, the court is on the side of the righteous, verses 30 to 33. Section 9, remember what I've told you, verses 34 to 38. And Section 10, the Lord helps the righteous, verses 39 through 40. Psalm 37 is truly a didactic or wisdom psalm, as that it compares the wicked with the righteous. It is also a psalm that presents a problem. Why do the wicked succeed? And gives an answer. Don't fret, as the righteous will win in the end. So section 1, don't worry about the ungodly, verses 1 and 2. Here, the problem is presented in statement form. What is the problem? Don't fret because evil seem to get to do well. Don't fret or be envious of them, because they will wither and die away. The psalm writer Asaph in Psalm 73 expresses some of the same feelings. Psalm 73, 3 through 10. For I envied the arrogant when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. They have no struggles. Their bodies are healthy and strong. They are free from common human burdens. They are not plagued by human ills. Therefore, pride is their necklace. They clothe themselves with violence. From their callous hearts comes iniquity. Their evil imaginations have no limits. They scoff and speak with malice. With arrogance, they threaten oppression. Their mouths lay claim to heaven, and their tongues take possession of the earth. Therefore, their people turn to them and drink up waters in abundance. What does this psalm writer say will happen to those who are evil in verse 2? They will wither and they will die away. The balance of the psalm emphasizes these 2 points. Don't fret that the wicked seem to be successful. They will die and the righteous will live forever. Section 2, just trust in the Lord, 3 through 7a. In these verses, David uses repetition to emphasize his point. Trust in the Lord and do good. Take delight in the Lord. Commit your way to the Lord. and be still before the Lord. If you do these things in question 4, what will be the result? You will enjoy um, I don't know. I'm thinking. You will enjoy safe. There you go. Safe. Let's look for safe. Come on. All right. Where am I then? We are working on 3 through 7a. So it's going to be 3. Oh, safe pasture. The Lord will give you the desires of your heart. The Lord will make you righteous, reward, shine like the noonday sun. Section 3. Therefore, don't fret. Verses 7b through 11. This section will refer back to the first section. It's like saying, don't fret about those who are evil and succeeding. Just do what I tell you in section 2 and you'll be fine. What phrase in verse 7b and verse 8 that is also in verse 1? Do not fret. What phrase in verse 9 that is also in verse 1? Those that are evil? Yeah, those that are evil. In verse 9a and verse 10, like verse 2. So they talk about them being no more. Why is the reader not to fret in verse 8? It leads only to evil. Verse 9 introduces a phrase that we will see throughout the psalm. What will those who hope in the Lord get? Inherit the land. There are similar words in verse 3 to what is said in verse 9. What are they? Dwell in the land. Well, okay. Here, dwell on the land. Oh, yeah. Jesus said similar words in the Beatitudes. Matthew 5:5. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Section 4, the wicked's plot will backfire. So that's verses 12 through 15. In the next couple sections, David will give more reasons not to fret about the wicked being successful. In this section, David uses antithetical parallelism, contrasting the wicked with the good, and also metaphor, using swords and bows to symbolize the actions against the righteous the wicked do. In verse 12 and verse 14, what do the wicked do against the righteous? They plot against the righteous, and they try to slay those who are upright. What does the Lord laugh at the wicked? For he knows their day is coming. What will happen to the wicked in verse 15? Their swords will pierce their own hearts and their bows will be broken. Notice verse 15 is in future tense, while all the rest of the section is in present tense. So again in the present, like the wicked are succeeding, but David promises they will fail in the future. Section 5, unlike the wicked, God's security never fades, verses 16 through 20. Continuing in the reasons that David gives the righteous not to fret about the wicked being successful, this time is about lasting security. These verses also use antithetical parallelism, or contrasting the wicked with the good. What are the words or phrases dealing with security? Better the little the righteous have um, than the wealth of the many wicked. The blameless, will endure forever. Their inheritance will of the blameless will endure forever. In the days of famine, they will enjoy plenty. We have different times Antithetical parallelism is used in this section. Let's see if we can identify them. Verse 16a, better a little that the righteous have, contrast with the wealth of the many wicked. Verse 17a, for the power of the wicked will be broken, contrasts with, but the Lord upholds the righteous. Verses 18 and 19, the blameless spend their days under the Lord's care, and their inheritance will endure forever. In times of disaster, they will not wither. In days of famine, they will enjoy plenty. Contrast with, the wicked will perish. Through Lord's enemies are like flowers of the field. They'll be consumed. They'll go up in smoke. Notice again the future tense for the wicked. For the power of the wicked will be broken, but the wicked will perish. They will They will be consumed. They will go up in smoke. In that future, when the wicked are destroyed, notice what is promised to the blameless. The blameless. The blameless inheritance will endure forever. In times of disaster, the blameless will not wither. In days of famine, the blameless will enjoy plenty. Section 6, the wicked are greedy, but the righteous are generous. Verses 21 to 26. In this section, David compares the character of the wicked to the character of the righteous and how that good character blesses the righteous. Okay, in verse 21, let's see if I can do this. Maybe that won't be fun. In verses 21, David makes a statement that he supports in the balance of the section. What is his statement in verse 21? The wicked borrow and do not repay, but the righteous give generously. There are a number of benefits that the righteous who give generously get. What are they? Those that the Lord blesses will inherit the land. The Lord will make firm the steps of those who delight in him. The Lord upholds him with his hand. The righteous are not forsaken or their children begging bread. Their children will be a blessing. Realistically, we know that the children of the righteous do beg for bread. But technically, if they are part of a fellow of believers, their fellow believers, as God's hands, should be helping them out. What is the one punishment of the wicked in this section? They will be destroyed. David uses antithetical parallelism in verses 21 and 22, and he uses synonymous parallelism verses 23 and 24. What verse tells us when in David's life he wrote the psalm? And we are I was young and now I'm old in verse 25. Section 7, the righteous will inherit the land, verses 27 through 29. Now we come to one of the recurring themes of the psalm. The righteous will inherit the land. So far in the psalm, verses 1 through 29, how many times is the phrase inherit the land used? Okay, let's take a look. Number 9 has one. Number 11 has one. Number 22 has one. Number 29 has one. So there's at least 4. So far in Psalms verses 1. Okay, I said that one. Okay, let's go on. What are some words used in verse 27 and 29 and also verse 3? So 27 and 29. Verse 3, trust in the Lord and do good. turn from evil and do good. And 29, dwell in it forever. So dwell in the land, dwell in the land. How about that? 27, dwell in the land, dwell in the land. Most of this section is future tense, but there are two phrases that are not. Turn from let's see, before 30. Okay. Turn from evil and do good, from the Lord loves the just. Therefore, the balance of the section, which is in future tense, is what will happen if you turn from evil and do good. You will dwell in the land forever. The Lord will not forsake his faithful ones. Wrongdoers will be completely destroyed. The offspring of the wicked will perish. The righteous will inherit the land and dwell in it forever. Section 8. The court is on the side of the righteous, verses 30 through 33. In this section, David could have been thinking about being in court and how the righteous would succeed in court over the wicked. The words that make us think of court or the legal system are A. The mouths of the righteous utter wisdom, and their tongues speak what is just. The law of their God is in their hearts. The wicked intent on putting them to death, let them be condemned when brought to trial. We also see David using body parts to make his point. The mouths of the righteous utter wisdom. Their tongues speak what is just. The law of their God is in their hearts. Their feet do not slip. Section 9, remember what I've told you, verses 34 through 38. In this section, David refers back to the previous verses to remind his readers what he is telling them about not fretting about the wicked being successful. Verse 34a, hope in the Lord and keep his way, is a repetitious pattern of what prior section? Trust in the Lord, take light in the Lord, commit your way to the Lord. That section 2 perhaps. In this, David is reminding the reader of all the statements David told him to do in section 2. What verses again have the phrase inherit the land? I saw that was inherit the land. Dwell in the land. I think 9 was the first one. Inherit the land. Well, we talked about this before. So in verses 34c, David says, when the wicked are destroyed, you will see it. Let's look back and see all the ways the wicked was destroyed. Verse 1, those who evil will be like grass, they will soon verse 1, they will soon wither like grass, they will soon die away. So that's verse 2, not verse 1, Renee. Verse 9 and 10. Those who are evil will be destroyed. Let's see. The wicked will be no more. Though you look for them, they will not be found. The wicked swords, verse 15, will pierce their own hearts, and their bows will be broken. Verse 20, the wicked will perish. Though the Lord's enemies are like flowers of the field, they'll be consumed. They'll go up in smoke. David adds to this idea in verses 35, 36. And in verse 38, what does he say? I have seen a wicked and ruthless man flourishing like a luxuriant native tree, but he soon passed away and was no more. Though I looked for him, he could not be found. Verse 38, but all sinners will be destroyed. There'll be no future for the wicked. In verse How is verse 37 similar to verse 11? Consider the blameless, observe the upright, a future awaits those who seek peace. 11. But the meek will inherit the land and enjoy peace and prosperity. So, yes, it talks about the blameless or the meek inheriting the land. Section 10, the Lord helps the righteous, verses 39 and 40. These are David's concluding verses. In these, he uses synonymous parallelism to emphasize his thoughts. The salvation of the righteous comes from the Lord is similar to he delivers them from the wicked and saves them. He is their stronghold in time of trouble is similar to because they take refuge in him. The Lord helps them and delivers them is the same as he delivers them from the wicked. And David sums up the home psalm in the following verse, verse 40. The Lord helps them and delivers them. He delivers them from the wicked and saves them. The Lord helps in times of disaster and in days of famine, verse 20. He delivers as he won't leave the righteous in the power of the wicked, verse 33. And he saves them from the Lord, for the Lord upholds him with his hand, verse 24. How the psalm lives on. While the entire Psalm 37 is not precisely quoted elsewhere in the Bible, verse 11 is cited almost verbatim by Jesus in Matthew 5:5. Other verses from Psalm 37 are referenced thematically or in similar language throughout the Old and New Testaments. Psalm 37 is not part of a specific formal Jewish religious ceremony with a fixed time and place in the liturgy. The Jews use Psalm 37 as a guide for developing a godly perspective and for navigating life's challenges by focusing on faith rather than envy. The psalm advises against emulating the wicked, who seem to prosper temporarily, and instead encourages trusting in God, doing good deeds, and delighting in His will. By doing so, individuals can find security, have their righteous desires fulfilled, and believe that the ultimate inheritance belongs to the faithful. Songs based on 37 are Fret Not Thyself at Evil Men, Never Seen the Righteous Forsaken, The Day of the Lord, and the Righteous Will Stand, and Success in Your Hand. How firm a foundation, He leadeth me, O blessed thought, and if thou but suffer God to guide thee. So that's the end of our study on Psalm 37. I hope you will continue in our study of the Psalms. Thank you. Bye now.